Ukrainian units defending the Lyman axis at the junction of Luhansk and Donetsk Oblast now unleash precision strikes on Russians using predictable forest routes. The Russians started using old Ukrainian supply routes in the Serebryanski forest, lying next to Luhansk Oblast's Serebrianka, to move troops for their next move. However, as Ukrainians held these positions for months, their drone operators knew exactly where to strike, tracking all their movements and unleashing devastating fire on the enemy front line and forces moving into position. As you remember, Ukrainians withdrew in one go from the Serebryanski forest, as Russians had taken their handful of viable logistics routes through the trees, under fire control with drones. However, this gave Ukrainians the brilliant idea and opportunity to turn the tables around on the Russians, as they knew exactly which paths were viable and where the Russians would be moving. A Ukrainian FPV fiber optic drone tracked a Russian UAZ Patriot near Kremenna, deep behind the front line, and destroyed it with a precise hit, eliminating the officer inside. A second drone confirmed the kill, showcasing how the layered Ukrainian drone operation works. In another case, soldiers of the 63rd Brigade tracked the movement of supply trucks instead, following them to a camouflaged Russian drone control point hidden in the forest. A strike destroyed not only the position, but also the Russian drone operators inside, as well as their nearby ammunition depot. Each of these incidents illustrates how the predictable use of the limited, old Ukrainian supply routes has made Russian forces vulnerable, easy to find, and easy to destroy. The lack of defensive infrastructure compounds Russia's problems, as Ukrainians had not dug new trenches as they withdrew in one go, leaving Russians with large areas without dugouts, tunnels, or proper fortifications. This left even less space for Russians to store supplies and equipment, which were now all concentrated on several larger routes through the forest. Russian troops moving in now must make do with foxholes and improvised shelters, which offer little protection against artillery, and none against drones attacking from above. In one video, overcrowding forced Russian soldiers to leave their weapons and ammunition outside a dugout. A Ukrainian drone operator spotted the stash, and with only 4 munitions dropped, destroyed the dugout and its armaments in a clean strike. Poor sheltering options, combined with limited space, turn each Russian attempt to consolidate positions into a fresh disaster. This dynamic is bleeding the Russians before they can even engage in a real battle for Yampil. After taking one bigger trench fortification at the end of the forest across the village, Russian commanders hoped to use it to advance more easily. On the contrary, this has made their attempts even more predictable than they already were, with every step forward turned into a death march for their assault groups. A video from Ukraine's 81st Air Mobile Brigade shows 2 surviving Russians, the last of an assault group, who briefly hid in a basement after their comrades were eliminated on the approach. Ukrainian drone operators targeted their hideout, forcing them into the open, where Ukrainian infantry shot them down on an open road like at a shooting range. Ukrainian troops report that similar attempts repeat daily, as Russian commanders keep sending small groups into Yampil, but almost none survive. Ukrainian drone surveillance monitors every movement, destroying infiltrators before they gather strength, which buys critical time for the defense of the settlement. Ukrainian fighters highlight that without the drones, their overstretched defenses would be under far greater pressure. Instead, Yampil remains under Ukrainian control, with Russian assaults collapsing before they can establish any foothold. Overall, by abandoning the forest in one go instead of in a drawn-out battle while on the back foot, the Ukrainians forced Russia into using the very routes that once threatened them, turning what was once a liability into an advantage. Now they have effectively become kill zones for Ukrainian surveillance and firepower, with Russian assault groups being shredded by drones before they can mass. The Serebryanski forest has turned into a trap and is currently far from being Russia's staging ground for deeper breakthroughs. Meanwhile, the settlement of Yampil is being held firm by Ukrainians and remains a stronghold that makes every Russian step a costly one.
Russians slipped deep into Kupiansk and ran right into an alert Ukrainian tank. It's not good news for Ukraine. Russian infantry slipped past Ukrainian defenses around the city of Kupiansk in Kharkiv Oblast on or before Tuesday. A Ukrainian tank, presumably from the 116th Mechanized Brigade, rolled right up to the half-demolished building the Russians were sheltering in and blasted them at point-blank range. It's the latest instance of Ukrainian tanks engaging and defeating under-supported Russian infantry in a close fight, but it's an ominous development for Ukraine. The brutal, zero-distance skirmish took place in Kupiansk, a town with a pre-war population of 25,000 and a key strongpoint anchoring Ukrainian defenses just 90 kilometers east of Kharkiv and its millions of residents. Russian infantry weren't supposed to appear inside Kupiansk, some 6 kilometers from what most mappers consider the front line in Kharkiv Oblast. The problem, of course, is that the front isn't really a line anymore. The reality is that there isn't a coherent front line, American analyst Andrew Perpetua explained. Instead, there's a wide no-man's land between areas of clear Russian and Ukrainian control. That no-man's land is largely depopulated except for scattered and carefully concealed underground fighting positions for a few harried infantry. Drones are everywhere all the time. Indeed, the drones, their relentless surveillance and attacks, are why the infantry are so spread out and scared, and why the front line is so indistinct. This new reality defies the traditional language of wartime reporting. Terms like front line, encirclement, and breakthrough have largely lost their meaning, especially considering Ukraine's desperate manpower shortage. Kiev's roughly 130 combat brigades may be short around 100,000 trained infantry. The front line is so thinned out that full-scale encirclements in the traditional sense are unlikely to occur again, the pro-Ukraine conflict intelligence team observed. Instead, the opposing forces are more likely to slip through each other's positions. The front line is actually relatively porous, and there are often fewer than 10 soldiers defending every kilometer of the front, depending on the terrain, noted analyst Rob Lee from the Foreign Policy Research Institute in Philadelphia. Many Ukrainian brigades have adopted a different approach to defense, where their infantry deliberately try to avoid engaging. Instead of actively fighting, the infantry watch for approaching Russians and relay the coordinates to nearby drone teams. Where in previous conflicts, drones spotted targets for the infantry, in this conflict, the roles are reversed. The porous front line makes infiltration easier and exploitation harder. To advance, Russian regiments can take 2 men dressed in cloaks to hide their thermal signature. Perpetua explained, they are led by a drone through a specified path, the drone ensuring their security and camouflage. These infantry move up into positions and lie in wait, being resupplied by Molniya drones, Perpetua added. They ambush opportunistically and kill anyone, namely civilians, who threaten to give away their position. Russia then moves up another pair and another pair and another pair to accumulate forces in exacting specified positions, Perpetua wrote. The entire operation is directed from above. The people involved have no initiative. In some cases, once a route has enough of these small rifle teams, they push forward a larger group of light infantry. That Ukrainian tank may have interrupted the Russians in Kupiansk before they could accumulate enough troops secure a lodgment. Ukrainian defense forces defending in the city have counterattacked the enemy that had penetrated the area several times and pushed the enemy back, the Ukrainian Center for Defense Strategies reported. But the Russians have been probing Kupiansk for a while now, and they're sure to continue as they leverage their manpower advantage over Ukraine's depleted brigades. Provided current dynamics of combat operations are maintained, the enemy will be able to capture Pokrovsk by autumn, Kostyantynivka and Kupiansk by the end of the year, CDS predicted.